Alright guys, welcome back to the question and answer series for the month of May. This is the bonus question. So usually we answer 4 questions, and the four most popular questions are the ones we work with. However, we always have one bonus question, and it usually involves some form of bodybuilding, natural bodybuilding trivia. And the question this month was, how big are Jeff Albert's arms? For those of you who are not familiar with Jeff Albert's arms, they are ridiculous, and they look crazy in picture, but to see them in real life, it's pretty wacky that a lightweight walks around with arms that big. So how big are his arms? We're gonna measure biceps because that matters. So Jeff, let's see. Jeff clearly has some of the biggest arms you will ever see on a lightweight competitor.
This is no.
Holy crap!
It's no pump either.
18s. Exactly, humongous. So Arm & Hammer needs to call up my boy Jeff so that he can, so that we can put him on a baking soda box. I think it's appropriate. So the question was answered correctly by Leroi, and I'm going to read this question. And by the way, I think this question is going to help a lot of you guys out there, because I'm sure many of you have had this pop up in your head once or twice, especially the younger guys. So the question is, and I'm going to read it again just to make sure I get all of it. Okay, so I've been lifting for just under 2 years. I want to go into a bodybuilding show either later this year or sometime next year. What would you say are the prerequisites to know if you'll be show ready? Feel free to check out my body type, physique, stats on my channel. I got a few posing and lifting videos. I'm super passionate about this and put a lot of work into lifting, macros, research, but it's hard to know if I'll look solid on stage or just straight up skinny. Laugh out loud. Thank you. Okay, so right, this is a loaded question, and it's a great question because usually most of these bonus questions they're very personal, but this is going to help a lot of you guys out there besides Leroi. So I checked out your videos, Leroi, and you definitely have a solid base, and I think right around a year to 2 years into some serious lifting where you're eating right, and then you have a sound nutritional plan to go along with a weight training program that is reasonably sound, and you're consistent, of course. I think we get to really, you get a good idea as to what role you're going to play. And what I mean by that, we for the most part build a great deal of our base within the first year and a half, 2 years of lifting. And I think right around this point, you're going to know, am I going to be a mass monster? Am I going to be a smaller dude? Do I have some really nice symmetry? All those things. Right around year 2, you kind of figure this out. So it wouldn't be a bad time to put yourself to the test. And I'm going to go based, I'm going to share my personal experience a bit here. And I think right around age 19, that is when I decided, okay, you know, screw all other sports. I want to be a bodybuilder, a competitive bodybuilder. And I think I kept putting it off year after year because I was too chicken. I was too chicken to go up there and not look the part, kind of the same fear that Leroi here has. And to tell you the truth, I was such a chicken that I didn't get on stage. I didn't commit to my first pre-contest diet until I was 23, and then I got up on stage right after my 24th birthday. And yeah, it definitely paid off in that by the time I got up there, I had more than enough development to hang in the open classes. But I really think that it would have possibly have benefited me a lot to have gone up on stage a few years earlier. And the main reason why is because it's a good way to know, it's a good time to know where you stand, and it's going to give you direction in your training. So what I mean by that is it's going to be a good way for you to give yourself constructive criticism, not going by a placing or what the judges say, but after you do your first season, you get to see what you look like up there, and for the most part, most of us can can definitely come up with a plan based on what we see up there and decide, okay, you know, okay, my legs are too small, or I really need to bring up my back, or I just didn't get lean enough. So it really gives you something to focus on, and it's going to make it's going to give your training a purpose. So you might be a bodybuilder now, but once you become a competitive bodybuilder, I really do think it brings more specificity to your training. And then after my first contest season, the first thing I learned was that, well, the most valuable lesson was that there's, being the lean guy at the gym lean, there is fitness model lean, and then there is bodybuilding lean. And that was a huge reality check, that separated quads and a few veins here and there just didn't cut it at that level. Had I learned this when I was 19, I most likely would have done a better job at keeping myself just a wee bit leaner in the off season, and I would have for sure done a better job, I think, just being way more consistent with my training. Because after you get your butt handed to you on stage, it definitely it lights the fire within you. So that's my best advice for you, is to, you know, I'd say in your case, you have a nice base. You've been lifting for 2 years. At this point, you kind of have a good idea as to where you stand, and or what your role is going to be. Are you a big guy? Are you a small guy? All that. But most importantly, I think, besides the fact that at this point you've built up a nice base, you have a lot of passion. And if you really love this stuff, you're going to get a kick out of your first competitive season. So that's my best advice for you young guys out there, is that certainly at some point give it a shot. Maybe get it out of your system, and then once you've kind of figured out what it is you need to work on, take a few years off to sort all that stuff out, and take what you learned from your first prep and apply it to the prep after that. And and that's something you're always going to do. There's always something you learn from every diet, which is my favorite part about this, is that there's always something to work on, and it's about continuously getting better. So that is my answer to you, Leroy. This is the bonus question for this month's question and answer series for the month of May. 2 more to go. Stay tuned for those, folks, and thank you very much for all the questions that you guys sent to us, and for all the support and the positivity that we see in this channel. So thank you.